Police departments across the country are facing a massive crisis. I mean, officers are quitting in record numbers. And recruitment? It's fallen off a cliff. Now, that sounds like the end of the story, right? But what if I told you it's not? What if this crisis is actually forcing a huge and maybe even positive transformation from the inside out? This is the story of how a system on the very brink of collapse might just be finding a way to reinvent itself.
I want you to just stare at this number for a second. 279%. That's not just a little increase. That is an absolute explosion. But an explosion of what?
Well, there you have it. That number represents the spike in police officers voluntarily quitting their jobs at one major department right after the summer of 2020. A detailed study found that resignations just skyrocketed, 279% higher than they should have been based on previous years. We're not talking about a small leak here. This was the dam breaking. And that brings us to what some people are calling the Great Police Exodus. Now, to really get why there's a surprising opportunity buried in all this, first, you have to understand just how bad the problem really is. The data from that study tells a pretty shocking story. Just look at the resignations. In 2018 and 2019, things are chugging along, pretty stable. Then 2020 hits, and bam, the number basically doubles. And notice, this isn't about retirements. These are officers, often in the middle of their careers, making the choice to just walk away. And the cost of this turnover? It's just staggering. I mean, forget for a minute the direct cost of hiring and training someone new, which can be huge. The real damage is what experts call a brain drain. Every single time a veteran officer quits, decades of on-the-street experience, of knowing how to de-escalate a tough situation, it just evaporates. And that directly impacts the whole department. And ultimately, it impacts public safety. So you have to be asking, how did it get this bad? Well, a crisis like this doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. The cracks in the foundation were there for a while. You know, if you look back at the timeline, experts were actually ringing alarm bells about a staffing problem for over a decade. Fewer people were applying, and a wave of retirements was on the horizon. But the summer of 2020, that was the tipping point. The study we're talking about calls it an abrupt shift that basically took a problem that was simmering on the back burner and turned it into a raging fire. This quote from the researchers might sound a little academic, but it really gets to the core psychology of it. Think of it like a social contract that just got torn up. Many officers started to feel like the deal had changed, that the support they expected from the public and from leaders in return for putting their lives on the line, well, that it was gone. And when that sense of partnership disappears, the last resort is to just walk away. And that right there gets to the heart of the matter. When you ask officers what the single biggest new stressor is, they point to one thing over and over: the socio-political climate. This feeling of being under a microscope, of being judged unfairly, of losing that backing from the community. That became the number one thing pushing them out the door.
Okay, so if veteran officers are leaving in droves, how in the world do you convince new people to sign up? This is where the story takes a fascinating turn. This is where we see departments getting creative to recruit a whole new generation.
And here's the key thing you have to understand. What motivates young people today is completely different. You know, for past generations, a good paycheck and a stable pension, that was often enough. But the research on Gen Z is crystal clear. They are motivated by something else. They want to be involved in their community. They want to make a real positive impact, and they care a lot about the culture of the place they work. I mean, listen to this quote from a young person who was surveyed. It says it all, doesn't it? This isn't about power or an easy path to retirement. It's about service. It's about building relationships. This is the new mindset police departments have to appeal to if they're going to have a future. And so the whole recruitment playbook is being rewritten. Agencies are ditching the old, slick action videos with high-speed chases. Instead, they're telling real, authentic stories about community work. They're using data and social media, and, this is really interesting, they're personalizing the whole process, even giving candidates a mentor to help them through it all. But just getting new people in the door is only half the battle. The real opportunity this crisis created is that it's forcing a much deeper change, a chance to rethink what a police department is supposed to be in the first place. And the key word here is civilianization. It might sound complicated, but it's a really simple, powerful idea. You bring in professional civilian staff, people who are not sworn police officers, to handle all the specialized jobs. And what does that do? It frees up the sworn officers to do the frontline police work that only they can do. And look, this isn't just some random idea. A major report from 2024 from one of the biggest law enforcement think tanks lays out the entire strategy. They see it as the future, not just a way to survive the staffing crisis, but a way to build a smarter, more efficient, and more effective police department for the long haul. So think about it. For decades, sworn officers have done all this stuff: crime data analysis, managing evidence, running background checks. This is all super important, highly skilled work. But does the person analyzing spreadsheets really need to be carrying a badge and a gun? Now look at this new list. It's almost identical. This is civilianization in action. Departments are now hiring dedicated, professional crime analysts and evidence techs and community liaisons. It's about matching the right skill set to the right job and building a much more capable team because of it. And here is the absolute magic of how this shift happened. This quote from an official in Charlotte-Mecklenburg says it all. Because there was a staffing crisis, this whole idea wasn't seen as a threat to officers' jobs. It was framed as getting them much-needed help to relieve their crazy workloads. The crisis itself is what created the buy-in for a change that would have been almost impossible just a few years earlier. And that really brings us full circle to the core lesson of this entire story. Sometimes it takes a crisis to force real, meaningful innovation. You've probably heard this quote from Albert Einstein: "In the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity." The police staffing shortage is absolutely a crisis, there's no doubt about it. But it's also acting as a catalyst, forcing departments to fundamentally change how they recruit, who they hire, and what the job of policing actually looks like in the 21st century. Which leaves us with a really big question to think about. Is it possible that this crisis, as difficult as it is actually forcing a necessary evolution? An evolution toward a new, smarter model of public safety, where the focus is on community, and where a whole team of specialists, both sworn officers and civilian professionals, all work together. What do you think?